Good morning. My name is Richard Miller, and I'm here representing the Sierra Club with over 500,000 members and supporters in the state of California. The Sierra Club strongly supported Senate Bill 100, which will move California toward a clean energy economy by 2045. And battery storage systems will be critical elements, along with solar and other clean energy resources, of making this a reality. To succeed, we must have qualified people install and maintain battery storage systems in a safe and most effective manner, whether they are standalone or are paired with solar. For us, that means all battery storage systems, from residential to utility scale, should be installed only by licensed C10 contractors with state-certified electricians. The transition to a 100% energy economy is an opportunity to build a stronger and more equitable California by bringing clean air to communities burdened by harmful pollution and providing healthy, quality jobs and careers for residents and families. We appreciate the opportunity to comment on this matter, and we support the staff recommendation to further explore and address which contractor classifications should install these technologies that are critical to advancing our clean energy goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Just briefly, by a show of hands, who still is waiting to speak briefly? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. My name is Jeremy Sullivan. I represent Sunrun, which is the largest residential solar provider in the United States, and I'm the head of training and certification for Sunrun's field employees. We have over 3,000 employees and over 200,000 customers nationwide. I'm here to say that I and my team have personally trained thousands of people in our company and other companies that we're partnered with, some of whom are in this room and on the opposing sides of the issue. Training for C46 individuals is extensive and extremely safety-based. C46 is a highly skilled profession because of the extensive experience, training, and testing on solar and storage since the beginning of solar storage. Our AHJs and utilities also inspect our quality of workmanship. I oppose the motion because of the status quo is preferred, but Sunrun will participate and collaborate with whichever option is selected. Thank you.
Thank you, board members, and for the time that you presumably donate our state for very, very little compensation. My name is Rob Robinson. I'm the Western Regional Sales Manager for Outback Power. Outback Power is a 18-year-old battery storage system manufacturer, inverter manufacturer based out of Washington. I live in Santa Barbara. I want to say how polite this whole group is on all sides. Speakers come up and speak, and their 33 minutes is up, and they stop. I've been to hearings where they don't stop. They just keep going. I want to make 2 points. One is, I started in solar doing battery storage systems in 1980. And so it's a long time ago, and I've been in and out of the business since then. But I want to acknowledge the fact that in the beginning of this industry, the electrical contractors, and there are exceptions, sort of poo-pooed the business, thought it was black magic or a fad. And now it's a real business, and it's the C46s that built this business. So here's to you guys that built this business. And now it's a billion-dollar business in the state, and our state's leading the world, really, in the adoption of this technology. And so I support basically option 2, probably, if you won't just do option 1, it would be option 2, and basically understand that the C-Force and their workforce is a huge body of people that are getting affected by this. Huge body of people, and a lot of lives, and really deliberate that very, very carefully, understanding what it means. And you know, there's battery storage systems that are on a residence, and there's the stuff that Baker does beautifully at 30 megawatts. These are different, same core stuff, but different projects. So be careful and deliberate in how you go forward with this, and please give them that consideration. Thank you.
My name's Jeremy Floth. I am an electrical instructor. I am ESAM TAC certified, which I have not heard yet today. That's electrical, storage, and microgrids, training and certification. Matter of fact, I had to wait to 2 guys before me to hear anything about somebody training. I hear about profits, things like that. I'm here to represent every electrical worker. I don't care what shirt they're wearing. We need the training. We need the safety. The gentleman before me said, oh, nobody's running around that battery over there. Well, why are there pylons in front of transformers? DC is no less dangerous than AC. Proper training is the key. There are some good products out there that are super safe. That's one of them. But do we always buy high? No, we go for the lowest bid, right? It's UL listed, it's UL listed. How many people have had a wash machine fell on them? It's UL listed. Refrigerator, UL listed. I've had a breaker grenade on me, brand new, out of the package, that was UL listed. But because I had the proper OSHA training, I had the proper protective equipment, which I haven't heard yet. All I hear is safe product, but not what we're doing to protect the employees. What good's your paycheck if they're dead? Okay, we don't put a seatbelt on because we know we're gonna crash. It's the potential of us crashing. That's how we rate electrical accidents, the potential of what can happen. Everybody remember those e-cigarette batteries that were popping in people's pockets? That's 1.5 volts. A 240 volt system, that's 160 of those going off at once. Is it gonna happen every time? No, but it could. Do you want it to be at your house or in one of these gentlemen's faces? Because holy Jesus, we have batteries that we have to connect with terminals now because nobody wanted to spend the $10,000+ for the top of the line stuff. I want to protect the people. I don't care what shirt they wear. I understand there's good products, but we can't all afford the good products. Safety and training. Safety and training. Get them educated, we're all safe. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for your time today. My name is Paul Daly. I am the Director of Product Management for Outback Power, which, as Rob indicated, is a provider of energy storage systems. You know, it is this board's prerogative to adjust the license requirements however you see fit. I would just like you to consider 2 points among all of the others that have been presented as you do that. One is that, you know, I'm developing new products in this space. Those products, albeit for residential primarily, are continually going more and more toward all-in-one systems that really should be installed with the PV. And that's something that is based not just technically, but also in terms of the tax code, sales processes, business processes, and even safety processes as these systems are put in. The other consideration is that, you know, limiting the C46 from installing products like this effectively disenfranchises the majority of installers today, and for no reason. We see no reason as a manufacturer that you have to have a C10 to do this. We train a lot of people in our 4-day-long manufacturer training course, and the kind of training you get outside of the typical license training is more specific and useful to these kind of products anyway. So it's really about someone who has the discipline to get a license, be it a C46 or a C10 or what have you. They will typically also get the additional training that specialize to the products. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Yellow shirt, so obviously I oppose changing it. My name is Mike Kozlowski. I'm a regional manager for UMA Solar. UMA is a distributor that offers a full range of solar solutions to our dealers and contractors, from simple residentials to large-scale commercial projects. We don't get involved with the high-end utility projects. That's above a lot of people's grade at what they can install. For more than 40 years, our company's been working with high-quality products, full technical assistance to our dealer network, and especially here in California. Often included with this support is manufacturer-specific technical training. I actually canceled one of these training tours to be here today. From installations to best practices and even troubleshooting, we do our best to equip our contractors, our partners, our dealers with the skills needed to service their clients with the utmost quality and safety one should expect. Our opinion is that energy systems are a complete solution, not independent of solar energy systems, grid power, or even federal tax credits. By restricting energy storage systems to only C10 installers, we're soon going to find out that there aren't going to be enough installers to go around, and not that there's not enough employees, enough folks to do it, but I don't know of a single electrician that's not booked out too far. I don't know any electrical contractor who's not overly busy, so we're going to create this bottleneck. While there are many C10 contractors more than confident and proficient, and we've heard a lot of them today, with installing energy and storage systems, there are even equally, if not more qualified C46 contractors that are more than capable to do these same solutions. And I'm pretty sure some of those are in this room right now. For those who are in favor of this license change for safety concerns, UMA is just as concerned. And we hear from different contractors that bumped into electricians who didn't know about batteries or didn't know about what's going on, and it was our 46s that have helped out. So by limiting ESS installations to only C10s, what does the future hold for the increase in cost that will directly associated with this proposal? Or better yet, who will be on the hook for the added expense? My guess is probably going to be the property owners. If this proposal is passed, not only will it affect the livelihood of the C46s installing battery-based solutions, but also the folks at UMA Solar. It's going to affect our business too, because we primarily sell to the C46s contractors over to C10s. So today I'm not only here to provide this statement on behalf of UMA Solar, but also for the rest of the solar distributors across the great state of California. Thank you for this consideration in this statement, and I request that you reject restricting the solar energy storage system installations.
Thank you. We're going to be breaking for lunch and returning in 1 hour. So if you would like to make note of your place in line, that's up to you. We'll be back to resume at 1 p.m. We would like to resume. Is the next speaker ready?
That's how we start, right? So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to all of us talk about our different perspectives on the subject. I really appreciate that the board is taking the time. Thank you to the board and staff. I'm not sure who's who, but thank you. I've been standing in line for all this time, and I'm puzzling about why are we here? It seems like there have been no accidents with C46. There's been no incident that's generated all this interest. So I just wonder, why aren't the C10s asking the C46, what are you doing right? Because we're doing a great job. We have approximately 42,000 workers that are working under the C46 doing solar every day, including my company. And we don't have accidents, we don't have battery storage problems, and I just don't understand why we're being asked to defend ourselves for safety reasons. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if that's shared by any of you, but it seems kind of odd. I mean, it wasn't a C46 worker that hung the transformer that started the campfire. It wasn't C46. It was C10s. And I think it was an accident. It just somebody messed up, and it's okay, it happens, but we have a tremendous safety record, and I think that should be recognized. I wanted to talk a little bit about why we're really here. I think we're really here because we have different business models. This is really one business model asking the government for special treatment over another business model. The C46 business model is scrappy little companies for the most part who are out there installing solar every day, and you have well-connected, well-funded, long-standing industry representatives that are kind of worried about how much we're doing. They would be happy to let us just continue like what we were if we weren't really gaining market share and doing well. But we've led this industry, and now they want a piece of it. It's not the first time. you know, about 5 times, 95, 2003, 2010, and now we've had significant efforts to try and kind of horn in on the C46 business. I think the C46 is working, so I stand in opposition to the motion that we should review it all again. It doesn't need to be reviewed. It's working. So I would say don't mess with a good thing. C46 offers a lot of things that sometimes the C10 doesn't. We have the ability to take people in and train them on very specific sets of tasks very safely to work on very simple equipment. I think that a lot of the LG Chem and Tesla batteries are not that much different than...
Thank you, sir.
Oh, okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Tim Ramage. I'm with Peterson Dean. We are a 35-year-old new construction roofing company and solar company. And I wanted my couple minutes just to be focused around two of the guiding principles that your legal counsel gave at the beginning. One was there needs to be some kind of compelling evidence for why we need to correct things. So just to piggyback on what he said, and I won't say any more on that. Secondly is, what will the economic impact be on the solar industry if we all of a sudden, after 20 years of thinking one way, say, we're going to change and go 180 degrees a different direction? What will it do? And that's what I'm here for. There's two elements that I'm going to look at. One is from the new construction side and the 2020 mandate. Peterson Dean is one of the largest new construction subcontractors for roofs. We also have, for 6 years, been growing a solar company. And so when this solar mandate comes out, all of a sudden, we have been put in a place where we need lots of labor. I don't care if they're C10, C46, we need highly trained people to do a lot of work. For context, last year we did 6,000 solar installations. Only 500 of those had energy storage, but that is a growing component. Now in this first part of this year, now we have 500. That are in process. Now we do 2,000 roofs a month that we install. In 2020, every one of those will have to have some kind of a solar. Just like we don't want someone else coming in to add into our solar system a battery, which is, every AHJ requires a single line drawing that incorporates the solar system and the battery. Builders don't want someone that is going to be putting on a roof to void the roof warranty with a solar system, and then another person is going to void that warranty with a battery warranty. Title 24 doesn't give value to solar panels anymore now that it's going to be mandated, but it does give value to the batteries. And there is value in the Title 24 energy efficiency because of that battery. They're going to have to hook into my systems. So that's one point. The second point is I am struggling to get enough labor with the existing classifications as they are. And we are working through training organizations with veterans coming back into the workforce, with low-income people going through training certifications for solar. And we're going to be ready for 2020, but this will be a major blow to our business if we say all of a sudden that people that for 40 years have not wanted to work in the industry that we're working on and have grown from the ground up, that now they're all of a sudden going to become interested in hanging a single power wall or a single...
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I would like to remind you all, first of all, we really appreciate and value your comments, but if you can just please try to adhere within the time and just advise us whether or not you're for or against the current motion, that would help us kind of move along and make a decision. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Bob Irwin. I'm a C46 contractor. I've been in business since 1980, and our license number is 393565. I'll start with a couple things that I've been hearing. We talked about utility company. Well, the utility company was here, I guess, talking briefly about fire safety, which I find a little odd, but I have to wonder what their motive is here, and I'll get back to that. Now, the other thing I've heard is about training and skill. There was a point brought up that we hire unskilled labor. We do. We do, and I'm very proud of that. I'll use one of my guys as an example. 12 years ago, he started with us as a laborer, no skill whatsoever. He was 18, had a child on the way, and now 12 years later, after a multitude of classes and night school, and a lot of work on his part, he's one of the most valued members of my team. He's a contributing member of the middle class. Okay, he's got 3 kids now. He just bought a house, and I'm proud of that. You know, he found his path as a C46. He's worked his way up. Now, is he less or more trained than a C10? If I hired a C10 off the street, would he be able to come in and do the same work that Junior can do? No. I would have to train him the same way that I train Junior, the same classes, and work him up. It'd be like saying, I have a heart issue, and I want my family practitioner to take care of me, because he's a doctor. Does that make any sense? No. You'd want a trained heart surgeon. So it doesn't matter that he's a C10, he still requires the same training that my guys go through every day, because it's what we do. Now, does he make the same amount of money as a C10 in the business for 10 years? Absolutely not. C10s make a lot more. And what does that mean for you? It means that I can provide you with a high quality installation at a reasonable price, because it's a value proposition. If you've got solar, or if you've thought about going solar, one of the first questions you probably asked was, what's my ROI? And if I hired some C10s and had to pay these guys $50 an hour, what do you think would happen to the pricing? So by doing that, it would no longer be attractive. Green energy is great, but if you can't afford it, why do it? Now, how does that tie to battery storage? The utility companies, as you may have noticed, or you should, are changing rates, time of use rates. Okay? They are penalizing people for going solar, making solar less attractive. Because eventually, if they're able to price it out of sight, nobody's going to go solar. So how does battery storage tie to that? Battery storage will then make solar basically effective, because you can store power and use it during those high time of use rates. The two they go hand in hand. And if you took battery storage away from C46s, it would in essence kill that portion of the industry. And if it's too expensive to do, nobody's going to do it. So we can either do business as usual and pay utility rates as they are, or we can move forward with green energy programs and try to set an example for the rest of the country. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me the time to speak to you. My name is David Shankle, and I represent the Southern Sierras chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, which means San Bernardino, Riverside, Inyo, and Mono counties. I'm here to take on the solar video that provided basically no subject matter expert to validate their position. The video was basically an info commercial that was misleading and even dangerous to the public, if you believe. For example, the video constantly referred that electrical installation is made safe by UL equipment inspection. Fact and common sense, that's not true. It could be a UL piece of equipment, but if it's installed or wired incorrectly, it still is a real electrical hazard. Proper inspection is important, but the inspectors cannot examine every electrical connection. Some of them are behind walls and battery units, whatever. So they can't see every electrical connection. So we would like to see, instead of it being by the C46 and their contractors, we'd rather see it done by electrical contractors, 32,000 of them, and contractors that have electricians that are governed by a state certification program. I also find it ironic that they talk about the inspectors should be doing all this when the inspector for the largest jurisdiction in the state of California states that it should only be installed by C10 contractors. It should also be noted that their video does not mention the importance of proper electrical installations, but instead focuses on the fact that the C46 contractors have a few energy storage questions on their licensing test. Again, this fails the common sense test. Misleading in terms of public safety. What is more important to safety? The contractor sitting behind the desk or the person actually out in the field installing the equipment? I think we know. In closing, we support the staff recommendation, and I thank you for the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mona Gokan, and I'm the owner of 77 Electrical Services. I'm also a civil construction engineer. As a construction professional and an electrical contractor, the number one priority for me is safety. And I heard many sides as, is it going to be more expensive? Is it going to be, we're not going to have enough labor, we're not going to have enough electricians and so on. At what price are we doing this? For the market, or for profit, or for companies having business or not having business? Energy storage system, if installed incorrectly, pose a serious safety risk for the occupancy and installers in our community. So I know you are in a very tough position, and either or left or right. However, I don't think if something happens, if this doesn't pass it, which I do support for it to pass, the staff recommendation, if doesn't happen and something does, a fatality or something, God forbid, happens, then how are you going to feel about it then? We don't want that. So as C10 contractors, we understand the high risk of arc flash, electric shock, and flash burn. And we are educated and trained to keep ourselves safe, to keep the client safe, and the community safe. We also are only the contractors that are certified and required by the state to hire a trained electrician. We take this business very serious, and we hope that you do the same. So in conclusion, I support the staff recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board, thank you for being here today, giving us all this opportunity to weigh in on this. My name is Doug Mangione. I've been a certified electrician for 41 years. I got the certification in 2005 when it first came out. You all know what it takes to be a certified electrician, 8,000 hours of on-the-job training before you can even take the test. If you haven't done that, you have to be listed as a trainee or in a state-approved apprenticeship program. Apparently, what I'm hearing today, I've thrown all my remarks out, what I'm hearing today is that's a major impediment to a C46 contractor. So your job is to protect the general public by making sure people have proper licenses. And apparently, what I'm hearing today is your job is to make sure that the general public has the cheapest available product, whether the license applies or not. Your job is to maybe denigrate another license because it may be a little more expensive. I'm sorry, I still look to government to protect the general public, not denigrate a license that's been in existence for years. The C10 is the third most license next to the A and B, and then it comes C10. There is no impediment for a C46 contractor to get a C10 license, hire the proper certified person to do that job. There's no roadblocks. I've heard power grab today. In order for us to grab something from somebody, they have to possess it. And it looks to me like the 1,000 C46 contractors are trying to grab from the 33,000 C10 contractors. You know, we've been doing this work, and all of a sudden now they want to take it away from us. So I support option 3, and I hope the board looks very, very hard at this. We shouldn't be in the business of getting the cheapest work for Californians, but the best and the most certified work. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, board members. Thank you very much for your service on this board. My name is John O'Neill. I am an elected city official in the city of Garden Grove. I'm a city council member from the city of Garden Grove. More importantly, though, I've been an electrician for 34 years. I actually spoke in Sacramento. It was almost a year ago when we were talking about the same issue. So right off the bat, I am in support of option 3, but more so, I'm in support of you going to committee and making a decision as quickly as possible. With the changing technology and the growth of California, we need to move forward quickly. But obviously, you're doing your due diligence by being here today. So I just wanted to give you a little personal touch because I have 34 years experience. I was working on battery storage in 1989. Some of these people weren't even born yet and they were in this room. It's a very sophisticated system. I've worked in central offices for Verizon, General Telephone, Kaiser, Kraft Foods, Boeing, you name it. I've worked in their battery backup rooms and systems. Believe me, you need to be very well qualified just to enter that room, like some past speakers have said. They just don't let anybody in there. This is a very sophisticated system. Battery storage is electrical storage systems are a different system than the PV. I just wanted to read to you some notes that I had put in here. You know, the National Electric Code in Article 690 refers to the PV system, and that PV system ends at the PV system disconnect. In the National Electric Code, in Code 706, energy storage systems, there are separate systems, and they're governed differently in the National Electric Code. Moreover, they pose a very different fire and life safety risks, and I believe these should be done by certified electricians. I hold a C10, I hold a General Journeyman State certification. I'm certified in lighting controls. I'm able to teach lighting controls. I've made my whole career since I was 19 in this business. And I can tell you from my professional opinion that, no offense to the guys installing solar, and they'll still be the ones installing solar after this decision is made. It's up to you to make the right decision for the state moving forward, that the proper people with the proper licenses should be doing that job. And I think it's easier for a C46 contractor, maybe the net gain is 400 or 500 of them, to get a C10 if they want to keep performing that work with the battery storage for residential use. But you need to make a decision for the safety of all the Californians and regulate our system here in California. So I strongly support option 3, and I would hope that you would get there quickly. Thank you very much for your time.
Board members, Eddie Bernacchi on behalf of the National Electrical Contractors Association. I was hoping I was going to be able to say good morning, but I think I was a little optimistic. National Electrical Contractors Association is a national organization, represents over 2,000 industry electrical field contractors that hold A, B, C10, C7, C46 licenses, or a combination thereof. And, you know, we want to start by saying thank you to the board. I mean, I know the staff put in a tremendous effort, you know, putting a summary of an 80-page document over an issue that's been debated over the last 3 years. I know it was difficult, and so I want to say thank you to the board, the staff, to the registrar for bringing this today and having this on the agenda, and the good work you did on the report. The report itself made some extremely compelling findings that suggest real reform is needed. I'll draw your attention to some of those really quickly. On page 24, when you're reviewing the highlights from what the solar industry experts provided to the board, on page 24, an expert from the solar industry stated, a C46 would not install standalone ESS. That would be performed by a C10. And then on page 25, they state, having a certified electrician is beneficial when working with energy storage. On page 35, it's relayed by the Association of the California Building Officials, CalBO, who are the inspectors that come in and make sure that quality inspections are done in state, and that homes and businesses are safe from improper installations. They go on and state, support, on page 35, they support a C10 classification as the most appropriate for installing an energy storage system. And they go on to say that a C10 classification has the proper training and expertise in order to provide the required safety measures and ensure proper code compliance. And then they close by stating, the allowance of a C46 licensee to perform this job function could jeopardize the integrity of the safety of the energy storage system unit and jeopardize the safety of those within the dwelling. And then finally on page 72, and I think this is really important, the report makes reference to California being unique to other states because it allows for solar contractors to install battery energy storage systems while no other state does. So, you know, we believe it's very clear, and I think if you look at the coalition letter that was provided to you, you know, and then so does firefighters, senior citizens organizations, building inspectors, construction workers, utility companies, building owners, environmental organizations, and over 75 elected officials throughout the state, both city council members and school board members and alike, including a quarter of the state legislature, that the board needs to make clarity and provide some sort of limit on the C46 solar classification from installing battery energy storage systems. You know, these are separate electrical systems. The National Electrical Code treats them as separate electrical systems. The National Electrical Code is the basis for our codes, for electrical codes here in the state of California. You know, and I just finally say this. I think that one point needs to be made. I'm not aware of anything that prohibits a solar contractor who would like to do battery energy storage safely.
Thank you, sir.
If they have the experience to. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kevin Alvin. I am the Assistant Business Manager for Local 569. I am also a veteran of foreign war. I am the Treasurer for Electrical Workers Minority Caucus. I am a proud product of the great state of Alabama. You know, I moved here in California after I took and served my time with Uncle Sam in the United States Navy. When I was in Alabama, they gave us a little bit of oversimplification, right? They say black and white hang the light. For those of you that don't know, that means that a hot and a neutral is what takes and allows the power to take and go through. And I think that that's what we're suffering here from today is an oversimplification. C46, right? So C46, they could do the work that they do. And here in the great state of California, you know, we've heard that we have a manpower shortage up and down, you know, and work has been created and legislated so that we can go to work, right? But when you start talking about a state-certified electrician, when you start talking about a C10 contractor, those are individuals that say we're all in for the great state of California so that we can make sure that whatever product you need, whatever thing that you need done, the C10 contractor is saying we can perform that duty. The state-certified electrician is saying we're ready to get the job done. We're not going to take and limit ourselves to one specific scope of work because we know that the great state of California has a lot of dreams, a lot of hope, a lot of aspirations. When I take and go out into the community, I'm looking to bring people in. I recognize that we need jobs, but when I introduce a person to a job, my main focus is to take and help them, guide them toward a career. So when we take and undermine what a C10 contractor is doing, what we're doing is we're causing a ripple effect that in the end is going to have a dramatic impact on C10 contractors and their ability to support careers for the great state of California. Don't know if you all live here, but my goodness, boy, it ain't cheap, all right? And so when we start causing ripple effects of the people that have taken and said, I'm all in for the great state of California, what we wind up having is additional things that come down the pipeline, affordability, housing issues, all of those things, you know? And so while that may not be on the forefront of your mind, I highly encourage you to think about the ripple effects that happen when you take and limit the scope of work or when you take and give more power to one group of people that say, we want to just do this. The C10 contractors, the state certified electricians, they want to do it all. And when little nuggets are taken away from the pie, forgive my Alabama analogies, then that means that somebody's going to have to eat less. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Jason Andrade. I am West Coast Sustainables. I don't do a lot of installs, maybe 20 a year. But what I do is I do a lot of batteries. Specifically, I have a clientele that expects me to have the expertise it takes to take them off the grid reliably or to do grid battery backup. And with the technology that we have now versus what we had 7 years ago when I got my contractor's license, it's way safer. With lithium technology, we have the abilities to hook inverters up and have pretty much rapid shutdown available soon so that if there is issues, these systems can protect themselves. The clientele that I have expect extreme safety, and when we look at these, we need to guarantee them with remote monitoring that we can also diagnose what's going on and protect them. As we start looking at the industry and the certification for electricians, again, it's a certification. It's not a guarantee. There's no guarantee that the quality of workmanship is going to exceed that of just a C46 because it's down on that individual or the person in charge to guarantee that the quality of those workers and the work that was done was of high standards. That is why I stay small and do limited projects because my standard and quality of installation is bar none. I am a beta tester for multiple manufacturers. I'm also a brand ambassador for lithium battery manufacturers because of the quality of my C46 installations. So hopefully you go with option number one, and I'm against what we're doing. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Board. My name is Mario Berrigan, and I've been an electrician since I was 19 years old, much like some of the folks that spoke earlier here today. And one of the things that has been neglected and is the fact that training is everything, education is everything. I think that was one of every one of us, I think our parents instilled the importance of education into us. So the debate that I hear today really doesn't lie whether you're a C16 and you've taken a test as a contractor that you know what you're doing, or a C10 contractor that taken his test can contract. We're talking about the manpower. We're talking about the workers and the workers' education. There's something to be said about education. If not, I understand most of us would very much disappoint our parents. And being that I was 19 years old, knowing that education was going to get me somewhere in life, 28 years later, I'm still educating myself in my craft, in my trade, in my ability to sustain a family. And to hear an industry of solar contractors say that, hey, you know what, anybody can do it, there's no special qualifications, no education that needs to, I don't need to educate my workforce, is appalling. And you, as a board, should take that into consideration and say it is important. And by standing with option 3, I think you will say that. Thank you for your time.
Again, I'd like to thank the board for hearing everybody's input on this very important matter. I'd just like to let you know that I've been an electrician since 1977, and the first battery storage facility I worked on was in 1979 at a Carter Hawley Hale facility in Anaheim. And I can tell you the battery room was bigger than this room, and there were several hundred batteries going on. And I think today the message on the shirts is wrong. We're not attacking solar. We don't want anybody to lose their job. Us as electricians, we just want to keep what's ours. And we want the National Electrical Code to enforce, well, not the National Electrical Code, we want the California State License Board to enforce the code where it states that anything beyond the disconnect is electrician's work. Just real quick, by a show of hands, how many here have solar on their house with a battery backup? I do as well. And I hired a reputable contractor, and from the work out of the panel to the disconnect, they're doing that work. They're not qualified to do that work. They're not licensed to do that work. Just like a butcher or a hairdresser, they have to stay within their craft. If they're doing the battery backup storage, they still have to go to the electrical panel, put a sub-panel in, come out of that sub-panel, and hit their battery backup. That's all our work. The whole battery backup installation should be considered C10 work. And I go with the board's recommendation with number 3. And thank you again for giving us this opportunity to speak.
I was going to say good morning, but now it's good afternoon, Board and Madam Chair. My name is Bernie Kotlier, and I'm the Executive Director of the California Nevada LMCC. I'm also a member of the Board of Directors of CalCEF, the California Clean Energy Fund. I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the California Energy Alliance, and a member of the Board of Directors of NatBat, the National Advanced Battery Association. And I had a set of notes and things to talk to you about, but as you can see, I didn't bring them because I've been listening this whole day to what has been said. And I have to tell you sincerely that there have been a tremendous amount of misleading things said, and it's really disturbing. So I want to focus, I can't focus on all of them, but I want to focus on the pleas that have been made to you about saving the solar industry. You see all the yellow shirts that says, you know, attack on solar. You've heard many speakers say that the C10s or the union want to put the solar industry out of business, that we want to hurt these companies, that if you decide that energy storage work can only be done by C10s, that they won't be able to continue their business. They'll go out of business, that people will be laid off, that they won't be able to honor their warranties. This is going to disrupt everything. This is absolutely incorrect and misleading, and let me tell you why. First of all, you've heard the numbers already. There are over 30,000 C10 contractors, and the C46 only is about 900 and some. So clearly they don't dominate the contracting industry. They're a very small part. If you look at the workers, based on last year's figures from the Labor Board, there are about 63,000 electricians in California. State certified general electricians, about 63,000. There are 3,900 solar installers. Once again, the numbers aren't even close. So there's the scale. But probably the most important part of what's been misled is the idea that if you make this decision, and I'm not talking about going, I support the idea that you should go into the process of the third staff recommendation. I support that. But whatever you decide, please understand that none of the things they said are true. And the reason they're not true is because a third of the C46 contractors already have a C10 license. They already can do both. They can already go to someone's home or someone's business and put in the solar under their C46 license and put in
Thank you, sir.
the storage under their C10 license. They can do that and continue to do it, and they can
Thank you,
all
sir.
do it.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Francisco Arago. I'm a state certified general electrician. I've heard a lot of the comments. So working in the electrical field goes far and beyond just pulling wire. There's also safety precautions. You know, I went through a 5-year apprenticeship, and throughout those 5 years, taking classes like first aid, CPR, OSHA 30, how to work safely on a job, to work on a commercial building and install battery storage units. I'm a skilled tradesman, as well as some of my colleagues right here. For me to think that it would be the law for unskilled, untrained workers to go out there and do what we do as proud tradesmen and proud electricians, and the danger that comes with this type of work. Electricity is the only thing on a construction site that you can't see, hear, or smell that will kill you in a second. And a lot of electricians who've been doing this for years, we've been bit by live circuits. You know, it's a very dangerous thing. And I believe this type of work should be done by a skilled tradesman. And I support item number 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janine Cotter. I'm a C46 license holder and the qualifier for the only woman business enterprise certified solar design build firm in San Francisco. We have, the solar industry has battery backup and battery storage in its DNA. For the vast number of years that solar existed, photovoltaics existed, you could not install a system without a battery. Jason only does off-grid systems. I think now he's doing some grid-tied, but the battery has always been part of our specialty. It's always been part of the classification. We do this work day in, day out. This is our specialty. This is our craft. This is why we hold a solar specialty license. In the last 12 months, 86% of the PV paired storage systems in the state of California have been installed by C46 solar specialty contractors licenses. We know what we're doing. We train our employees specifically to the craft, which is within our specialty. This is what we do. This is our work. For over 40,000 solar installers work in the state of California. Those of us that hold the C46 license have an imperative not only morally, not only legally, not only a business imperative and not only a financial imperative to train our employees to do the work, to be craftspeople at the work that they do every single day. The document that staff put together was really clear that there isn't an issue here. We're doing this within our craft. We're doing it safely. We're doing it every day. This is the work that we do. I respectfully suggest that we should really be deploying the CSLB resources towards things that are really problematic. There are 56% of the C10 electricians out there that self-certify that they do not have employees and they do not have workers' compensation. There are 40% of C46 contractors that self-certify that they don't have employees. It is not possible to do any of this work without workers' compensation. Or it is possible to do this work without workers' compensation. It is not possible legally to do this work. Let's focus our resources on the stuff that's really problematic. Let's not put people who are trained, who have spent years honing their craft on this work. Thank you.
Good afternoon, board and staff. My name is Noemi Gallardo. I'm with Sunrun, which is the largest residential solar and storage provider in the U.S. It's my turn. My time. Thank you. Excuse me. So I do not hold any of the licenses that we're talking about here today. I am not that cool. But what I do know is about legislative affairs and regulatory processes. Those are my main responsibilities at Sunrun. And so on the legislative side, I thought it was a treat to have Senator De Leon here earlier today. I often work with legislators up in Sacramento, but a point that I wanted to bring up to you is that he did mention his bill, SB 350. That bill is not germane to this issue. The bulk of that bill focused on energy efficiency, not what we're doing today or what we're focused on today. Additionally, he did emphasize that that bill required highly skilled and trained workers, and I think that is a great thing. And in fact, that's what we have today with the C46s. They are experienced, they're trained, they're licensed, they're tested. So we have what we need. Second, I wanted to point out that I am here to oppose the current option that's being recommended, option 3. Normally, I would not oppose a regulatory process. I'm very used to that. We do that often in other venues. However, I think this would be a waste of your resources to focus on this regulatory process when the work has already been done. We thanked Michael Jimnetsky earlier for the thorough work that he did, so it would be a waste to go back and do it again when we have heard that it would require substantial evidence to make a change. This has shown that there is no evidence to make that change. So I implore you to take this very seriously, and I would suggest that you go with option 1, which would be the status quo, because that is and has been working. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bernadette Del Curo. I'm the Executive Director of the California Solar and Storage Association. Thank you for sticking with us all through the afternoon. And actually, over the past year, we have been in fact-finding mode. You have been in looking at this issue that was brought before you starting in February of last year. And I just want to underscore that you, as you know, cannot promulgate a rulemaking without evidence, without fact. This is not a matter of opinion. This is not a matter of rhetoric. It's not a matter of politics. This is a matter of fact. Have you been given sufficient fact that there is real and present danger posed to the public by continuing to allow the C46 contractors to install solar paired with solar systems, as you have allowed and upheld numerous times over the past 40 years? Do you have facts and evidence to support revoking and restricting that trade? The evidence of what the C46 licensed contractors in terms of real built systems, over 1 million grid-tied, interconnected photovoltaic systems safely installed predominantly by the C46 license is a fact. Thousands and thousands of storage and solar paired grid-tied systems have been installed by the C46 license without issue, as it's contained in your own report. That is a fact. There are countless off-grid systems that you have heard over and over by speakers today that are inherently paired with solar and storage, installed by the C46 specialty solar license. That is a fact without incident. Now, then you go to, is there a potential, with Mr. Fote said at the very beginning, is there a potential threat? Well, what evidence, what factual evidence, not opinion, factual evidence have you been presented that energy storage paired with solar is going to become more dangerous, and that the C46 licensed contractor and his or her trained workers are incapable of doing it safely? You've heard from the manufacturers, all of the large manufacturers of the technology testify before you today that they are capable. You've heard them say that their systems are UL listed, fully packaged, and able to be installed safely by the C46 contractor. You've heard from building officials, the people that write the code book. That's who I brought before the staff in January. The people that write the codes, not just contractors arguing against contractors in a trade war. Who are the experts on safety? Who are the qualified individuals that are capable of wiring these devices together for consumers? Thank you for basing your decision on fact. Please vote no. It does not preclude
Your time is up. Thank you.
from taking action later.
Hi, I'm Sean Swoboda, state certified electrician. One of the big things that's been talking about is, just want to make sure, I am in support for the motion on the floor. Get that in before time runs out. One of the big things that everybody was talking about is plug and play. I have a real big issue with that particular idea. One, it was just a couple weeks before the April hearing, I had an incident. I got called out to fix a couple issues on a rooftop on a hospital. Hospitals have to get engineered. The hospital has to prove it. It goes to the state of California. California approves it. It goes back out. It gets installed, and then they have a third-party inspector install it. I got out on this rooftop because the contractor got kicked off. I'm looking at an area that was already inspected, ready to go. Mind you, it's on the top of a roof. Look over, look at the transformer. This transformer, yay high, big boy over there on the top. Look at it. It's a dry location transformer on the top of the roof. If any water got in on that transformer while it was going, that would have blown a hole in the roof, killing the people. There's 2 beds in the floor below. The inspector passed it. The reason why she passed it was because that was the same transformer that was on the print. Everybody from the engineer all the way through to the state of California, all the way to her, the last line of defense, the inspector, missed it, didn't realize that it was a dry location or a dry location transformer. The only person that caught it was me, the state certified electrician. There's a handful of other issues that was going on with that particular job, but just keep in mind, everything is not just plug and play just because the print says it has to be done a certain way. You're putting a lot of responsibility on one person's hands to catch those mistakes of an engineer that's just cut and paste and cut and paste. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for allowing us to offer our comment here. My name is Burt Richardson. I'm a retired electrical worker. Prior to 2006, California was the wild, wild west. Unlike its neighbors to the north, Oregon and Washington, California had no mechanism in place to verify the competency or the training of its electrical workers. If I said I was an electrician, in the eyes of the state of California, I was an electrician. Granted, California tested contractors, but not their workers who were actually doing the electrical installations. Our legislature said this cannot continue. Our electrical workers will be certified. Since it was finally implemented in 2008, it took a couple of years. The certification test has become more rigorous, encompassing not only the National Electric Code, adopted under our California Electric Code, but electrical theory and safety, including OSHA and NFPA 70E. A vote to allow C46 contractors and their untested and unproven workers to work on battery storage solutions is a repudiation of the legislature's mandate, the need to verify electrical competence. You would be sending a message, it doesn't matter. As those tasked with the responsibility of protecting California's citizens, I ask you, please do not undo 13 years of progress and return us to the dangerous wild, wild west. I support the staff recommendations for item number 3, and as does municipalities and others who've spoken, the utilities have spoken in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you.